This segment of the news is brought to you by Smitty's Cards and Coins. Would you like to know what your collectibles are worth? Come by 2281 Postal Road, Unit 4, across from the post office.
And here's Eunette to tell us what's happening this week in our courts.
In this week's court report, a Pahrump woman arrested and charged with repeated trespassing at Mance Elementary School now has 4 open cases in Justice Court, including 1 traffic case and another case stipulating an application for protective order, stalking. Veronica Aceto is facing a slew of formal charges, including disturbance of school, threatening, assaulting pupil or school employee, interference with persons peaceably assembled within school for school district purposes, disturbing the peace, and unlawful trespass upon land, for which charge Aceto has an active cash or bail bond, $500 cash bail. An arresting officer says he dealt with Ms. Aceto before and knew that she was previously trespassed from Mance Elementary School property. The first incident occurred August 14th, and this latest trespassing case occurred October 2nd. Aceto has an arraignment hearing scheduled for 3 of her cases December 5th. The Pahrump man arrested and is now facing the formal charges of battery with use of a deadly weapon resulting in substantial bodily harm, ex-felon in possession of firearms, and discharged weapon missile endangerment of others, has his case bound over to district court and will be a court again this Friday. During Gregory Uribe's pretrial hearing, his public defender, attorney Harry Gensler, briefed the record as to negotiations for this case. The defendant will unconditionally waive his right to preliminary hearing and enter guilty pleas in district court to count 2, ex-felon in possession of a firearm, and count 3, discharging a weapon. The state will reserve the right to argue at sentencing and not seek to charge the defendant as a habitual criminal. Pursuant to negotiations, the defendant will receive 13 days credit of jail time served for the balance of fines and fees due, and one of Uribe's cases will be dismissed. The prosecuting attorney concurred. The court further stated the defendant should not be allowed to receive credit for jail time served in district court for credit he has received in justice court. Attorney Gensler stated it would not be allowed in district court, and the prosecution concurred. The defendant was screened as to his understanding and acceptance of the negotiations and the rights he would be waiving by entering into said negotiations. Uribe stated he understood. The court found that the defendant had knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to preliminary hearing and ordered the defendant bound over to appear in district court November 17th. Then the defendant was remanded back to the custody of the Nye County Detention Center. Diane Davis now has a status check scheduled in district court December 11th in regard to her mental health status. She's the Pahrump woman connected to the killing of 17 dogs after a fire was reportedly intentionally set inside her home. During Davis's last proceeding in district court, a hearing on stipulation, the defendant did not want to enter an insanity plea, but the court did order a criminal reasonability exam after arguments in support of it from the state. Davis remains at liberty. Her new trial date has been reset to March 13th, 2018. This has been your court report. I'm Eunette Gentry for News 46.
Thanks, Eunette. Here's Angela Miles with today's Business First Brief.
Topping our news, GE breaks below $20 during Monday's session. General Electric stock dipped as the company sliced its dividend in half to 12 cents per share. This is the second time the dividend has been cut since the Great Depression. GE also plans to reduce its staff by 25% at its home base. CEO John Flannery tells investors the plan is to renew the company's focus on healthcare, aviation, and energy. Hasbro is in the game to get Mattel. The Wall Street Journal reports that Hasbro, which owns Nerf and My Little Pony, made an offer to acquire Mattel, sending Mattel shares galloping higher. Well, reports say Hasbro has been attempting since 1996 to take over Mattel, which would tie together the nation's largest toy companies. The toy industry is expected to bring in $20 billion in sales by 2021.
Thanks, Angela. Now Courtney talks to us about decluttering our lives in today's Mental Health Minute.
Hi, my name is Courtney Dandy Freilich, Marriage and Family Therapy intern with the Healthy Foundation Center. For today's Mental Health Minute, we are going to be talking about using less stuff. As we gear up for the holiday season and we gear up to get more things in our homes, we take time out to think about how we can reduce our waste and reduce the things that we're using. During this month, take time out to think of ways to give people gifts and presents that don't accumulate waste. Also, think of ways that you can get involved in recycling and reusing items in your home. We want to make sure that we keep our planet great and we all do our part. So again, this is Courtney Dandy Freilich with the Healthy Foundation Center. For more information about reducing your use of stuff and kind of how you can declutter your house and your mind, please give us a call at 702-489-2117.
Thanks so much, Courtney. A psychiatric medication system in the form of a pill with a built-in digital tracking device received approval from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration on Monday. Abilify MySight, a form of aripiprazole and a first-of-its-kind product, has an embedded ingestible sensor that records when the medication is taken. The medication system is intended to treat schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, and depression in adults. The idea behind Abilify MySight is to improve a patient's compliance with their medication regimen. The sensor is the size of a grain of sand and is made up of ingredients found in food. Coming into contact with fluids in the stomach, the sensor is activated and communicates this to the MySight patch. Meanwhile, the patch detects and records the date and time when the tablet was detected in the stomach, in addition to physiological data, such as the patient's activity level. The patch communicates all of this to the MySight app on a compatible mobile device, such as a smartphone. Self-reported mood information can also be shared via the app if the patient chooses.
And don't grab your remote just yet. News 46 will be right back with more local news.